Want me to read it?
Yeah, please.
I'll read from the start. The new always carries with it the sense of violation of sacrilege. What is dead is sacred. What is new, that is different, is evil, dangerous, or subversive. Henry Miller. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Lord, Lord, why hast thou forsaken me? Jesus Christ. For all we know, the moon is made of green cheese, Walker was saying. For all we know, Jesus Christ is alive and well. A mystical reality hidden from the earth's tunnel vision, seen through an osteophalic plant, psilocybin, the magic mushrooms, imagined through spores, bringing great sex thrills and communion with his vast, immortal soul, unimaginable and more esoteric than the mysterious interconnections of the human brain. For all we know, Jesus Christ can be seen as long ago in their holy order, the saintly Jewish Essenes on him, a sage, a young boy, physically Mary's son born of the flesh, from incomprehensible dimensions sprung from the Lord of the universe, sacred, inexplicable, immortal yet mortal, a dreamer in cosmic seas, teaching simple spiritual lore, a godlike superhuman Jew, nobler than the kings and queens, a myth of divine immortality, improbable beyond death. For all we know, Jesus Christ resurrects in the flesh. When the flame of the flesh erects in ecstasy through love, creating bliss and transporting the soul out of the body in momentary orgasmic ascension, split second of wild joy, out of time and space and body, vast sensation through sex. Christ as a Kundali phallus yodi, mysterious, incredible soul. For all we know, Jesus Christ flows through our life like a solar power to the utmost farthest reaches of the mind and spirit of the cosmos, more powerful than hydrogen bombs. His atomic energy permeates a manic world of good and evil, madness, hysteria, hate, and love, all in depths of body and soul eruption, as we come with awesome force bursting, shimmering, iridescent fireworks in the dark night of the flesh. Oh, magical, indelible moment of rapture. Oh, mystery of the Holy Union. For all we know, Jesus Christ is a cosmic lover in the body of us all. Powerful stuff.
Does that fit with your own image of Jesus?
Yeah. Yes and no. I think what it fits is the mystic concept of Christ, which some theologians separate from the historical man Jesus. This is the cosmic Christ, body and soul. Well, this is pretty much Norse's theme. In the hub of the fiery force is energy. Spiritual, sexual, sensual, transcendent. Man's a mystic.
Very interesting.
Man's a mystic.
Very deep connection to people like Henry Miller in some ways.
Very much so.
And he seems to have a very healthy and sort of open attitude towards Christianity.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to one of my friends last night, and he's had a very, those typically traumatic experience in Catholic parochial school. He's been kind of turned off by, maybe Catholicism in particular, but Christianity as a whole because of it. And I was telling him about Thomas Merton. You know how Merton, in his monastic intensity, his poetic illumination, he wrote one of his best prose poems about the night and the forest and the woods. And there was a very vivid image of the beloved, sensual, her body. And if you were to read it, you wouldn't really know this is actually a monk speaking about his sensual attitude, vision of the world around him. And I was telling him, if a monk can have this sort of expansive consciousness without having any kind of a physical sexual relationship, then surely, this is something positive we have to also learn from. It doesn't mean we have to be monks, obviously, but it does mean that there is something there in the mystical spirit, tradition that is very much relevant to us.
I think pretty much fundamental to Merton's mystical sense was a rejection of that body, soul, spirit, flesh dichotomy that probably finds its deepest roots in Augustinian Christianity, which in turn is related to a Manichaean rejection of the flesh, in the sense of material creation as evil. Merton, and I think the best of Christian thought, repudiates that. And in much mysticism, whether you're talking about Catholic, whatever, the blending of the spiritual and the sensual is overwhelming and tangible. And I think Norse captures that very nicely. Very nicely.
Do you know much about his background, why he has this sort of deep, it seems atypical of a gay poet to have such an open attitude in relationship to Christianity?
I don't know. I guess what I'd say is that he has little use for the organized church, but I think he's a deeply spiritual man, and in many ways a somewhat troubled one. A lot of his poetry is a celebration of sensuality and sexuality, but it's very different from Ginsberg's.
How so?
Ginsberg's sex poems, where he's celebrating his homosexual seductions and what have you, have a very superficial surface quality to them. Or to put it very crudely, a fuck is a fuck and it's just a fuck. Norse is subtler than that, more complex. He certainly celebrates sensuality. He certainly celebrates fucking. But he goes beyond that. And I think at some point, I can't say just where, I think it may be in his autobiography, he says if you try to separate the spirit from the soul, the sensual from the spiritual, you wind up killing both. And I think that's a key to what you were getting at.
Because, the odd thing about it, almost paradoxically, the greatest mystics, whether it's Rumi, I was talking to my students about this, but take Rumi or, St. Teresa or Meister Eckhart, St. John the Cross, you have a very sensual imagery, even intensely erotic ones, to talk about the union with God. These people who are almost intoxicated.
Yeah. Well, one of the great spiritual mystic poets was John Donne. And he has one poem that starts out, I think, with the lines, "Ravish me, three-person to God," or something like that, which he sees, this image of a spiritual and physical union. And there's a strong sensual element, I think, in his mystical poetry. And, it's metaphorical, allegorical, and what have you. It's certainly not sexual in any crude sense of the word, but it celebrates a spirit force and energy. And I think that's what Norse is about, particularly the poem we just read.